generations with more self-awareness, more intellectual abilities, you have to educate your teachers first, because they will be the main instrument which is gonna shape your future. And considering this fact, I designed my project to include both future teachers and students together. And also, considering the very low rate of reading habit in our country, in 2020, I think this was the only 30% of the population. I decided to make my project as short stories so that students will be interested and gain reading habits. And in order to increase the interest of the students, uh, I think that we have to make these stories attractive, because, as I said before, the reading habit in our country is very low. So we have to increase this. So I support the stories with sketches appropriate to the levels of the students by hiring a professional illustrator. And aims of the project. Firstly, to inform the future teachers about social justice problems. As I said before in the beginning, this project is mainly focused on future teachers. And second, to produce short stories that can be used in lessons at primary and secondary school levels to raise awareness of the students on social justice issues. And third, to make future teachers more sensitive to social justice issues. And the last one, to inform future teachers by using short stories about not only social justice problems, but also about what they can do in case of facing that kind of situations in their classrooms. Countries like Turkey, which has so many refugees. Approximately in our country, there are 6 million Syrian refugees, and most of them are child. And these children are going to school and facing racism by their friends in their classrooms. So being a teacher in this classrooms are very important, because the teacher must know what to do against these kinds of situations, these kinds of problems. Project timeline. Because of the COVID-19, I had to cancel my first project, so this project starts with May 2020 to February 2021. And my project has 5 stages. Stage 1, recruiting the participants. Stage 2, giving briefings to the participants. And Stage 3, organizing the story writing, lesson plans, vocabulary list, and giving feedback to the participants. Stage 4, organizing the sketches of the stories. And Stage 5, uploading the stories and finishing the project. Let's look at the Stage 1 first. Recruiting the participants. Recruiting the participants was the easiest stage of my project, because all of my participants are English language teaching students, and they are from different universities, different cities. 3 of them are girl and 1 of them is boy. Let's continue. Stage 2, giving briefings to the participants. In total, I gave 4 briefings to the participants, and in these briefings, I used parallel topics with those used in our webinars, like environmental education and justice, gender equality in education, LGBTQI plus communities and their issues in Turkey, and peace building immigration. And here we are seeing one of the photo from one of the briefings, the gender equality briefing. And stage 3, organizing the story writing and giving feedbacks. When the I'm sorry, uh, briefing session is over, I ask participants to start to write their stories, and during this process, I arranged the writing process and gave feedback to the participants. What I mean by feedback. Here, on the left side, we are seeing the first version, the raw version of the migratory triangle story, and the right side, we are seeing the final version of the story. On the left side, we are seeing red punctuation errors, the sentences need to be paraphrased or be changed, and on the right side, we are seeing the version of corrected errors and the sentences which has been changed. And after that, when the story writing is over, I asked participants to prepare 1 lesson plan and 1 vocabulary list for their stories to be used in classroom by themselves and by other teachers and for the students. And after that, stage 4, organizing the sketches of the stories. As I said in the beginning, we have to make these stories attractive to the students. We have to attract their attentions. While the participants preparing their lesson plans and the vocabulary lists, I hired a professional illustrator for the sketches to be included in the stories. Here, these are some of the sketches from the stories. On the left and the middle one is from Migratory Triangle story, and the right one from the Most Beautiful Flower. And the final stage is stage 5, uploading the stories and finishing the project. Oh. After editing the stories, by editing I mean the final touches, and combining them with sketches, lesson plans, and vocabulary lists, I uploaded them to the online library. Here we are seeing the uh, stories with their lesson plans and vocabulary lists and appendixes on the project website. They are ready to use and can be downloaded from the project's website. And my project participants. My participants are 4 ELT students: Alita Hatuna, Ayçanur Sarıtepe, Arzu İrem Toraman, and Zeynep Candal. When the writing session is over, I ask them to give me feedbacks about how they took place in the project, what they did, what they feel, and these are from my participants. And this is from Alita Hatuna. He's from Eskişehir Osman Gazi University. Let's watch his feedback.
Greetings. My name is Taha Tuna and I'm studying English language teaching at Eskişehir Osman Gazi University. I've assisted my friend Fahri in this project by helping him come up with ideas about activities and tasks for the stories Self-Loving Colors and Black. And I want to thank Fahri for providing me with this opportunity to realize how important it is for us teacher candidates to be aware of such issues from racism and self-acceptance. And I hope more teacher candidates such as myself can be aware of those issues and can address those issues so these problems can be things of the past. Thank you.
And the second feedback from Ayçanur Sarıtepe. She's from Amasya University.
Hi, I'm Aicha and I am from Amasya University. And thanks to this project, I realized that while raising the next generation, teaching them the term social justice is a very significant topic. If they know what is social justice and where is their place in the society, they will be happier in their life. And with this project, they will have an awareness about this topic. And it is, I think, really important. And that's all. Thank you.
And the last feedback from Arzu İrem Toraman. She's from Amasya University too.
Hello, I'm Arzu Ram Toraman from Amasya University. Firstly, I will start with this question. What is my contribution to this project? I wrote a short story called Self-Loving Colors and Black. In the story, I try to tell children that all differences are peerless and unique. With the help of my imaginary crying world. It's project actually I'm looking forward to the result because I want to address, I want to talk to minds who are unchained and who says stop to prejudice. Thank you everyone.
And now our stories. There are 3 short stories in total on the library at the moment: The Most Beautiful Flower, Self-Loving Colors and Black, and Migratory Triangles. Our first story is the most beautiful flower. And in this story, the importance of protecting nature is emphasized, starting with his teacher assigning homework to our protagonist Fahri to bring a flower to the classroom. And with the story, there's a lesson plan and a vocabulary list for the story on the library too. Here on the left side, we are seeing the lesson plan for the story. The lesson plan is appropriate for the levels of the students from second grade to eighth grade. And on the right side, we are seeing the appendix that will be used in the lesson by this lesson plan. And here we are looking at the vocabulary lists with pictures to help the students to help the students memorize the words very easily with easy definitions and sentences with examples. And our second story is Self-Loving Colors and Black. This story is about what happens to Crayon Black after an assignment given by his teacher, Mrs. Rainbow. And also there's a lesson plan and the vocabulary list of the story on the library too, ready to use. Here we are seeing the lesson plan with pre-reading activity, while reading activity and post-reading activities ready to use. And its vocabulary list, as I said before, is definitions with pictures and examples. And our last story is Margature Triangles. This is my favorite one because it's very easy and simple for the students, and its drawings, sketches are also very attractive, at least for me. This story is about the story of a group of triangles that were forced to migrate because their village did not have enough space due to the increasing population. And with the story, there's a lesson plan and a vocabulary list for the story on the library, ready to use too. And here we are seeing a lesson plan and an appendix for the story and its vocabulary list too. And that was all. Thank you for your attention. I'm ready for any questions.
Thank you, Fahri. You're right on time. Actually, it's been 13 less than 13 minutes. So I just want to open it up for questions now from our jury members.
I have a question. So, Fatih, can you talk to the group about the revisions you made to the vocabulary list?
Sure. At the beginning, the vocabulary lists were like only definitions with hard definitions, really, and with not easy sentences. By the time we revised that by adding the vocabulary list pictures to help students to memorize them very easily and making the definitions very short and simple.
Great, thank you.
It just occurred to me that our participants may not know Aycan and Roger. So if you would like to introduce yourselves, Aycan and Roger.
Sure. I will go ahead. My name is Aycan Yaman. I am the Regional English Language Office Coordinator. I work in Ankara at the US Embassy with Roger. We are here, our office is here to support English language teaching and learning. And this is one of our great projects. Thank you, Deniz Hocam and Servet Hocam and Adnan Hocam. And this is my second time with the project doing the jury, and it's always enjoyable and fun to see all these bright and wonderful ideas coming out of this project. So I'm very excited to be here. Currently, I don't have a question for Fahri. This is a nice project. Thank you.
Thank you, Aycan.
Hello, Fatih Hocam. How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm a bit sick. I'm sorry for coughing.
Oh, geçmiş olsun. I hope you're okay. Take care. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm Roger. I'm the Regional English Language Officer. And more importantly than me, could you first, you said where some of your candidates were, but could you say where you are? Could you talk about your teaching context a little? And because I don't know you at all. Like where are you right now?
Actually, I graduated from Amasya University last year, and I'm living in Ordu. And all these briefings and other things happened on online because of the COVID-19 virus. If you have any more easy questions to answer,
Yes, well, that's pretty easy. Asking where someone is, I think, is a pretty easy question. My next question is, so you chose these 4 ELT candidates, and so I'm curious, so when you chose them, could you talk a little bit about how you introduced the topic of social justice? Or I understand your project, it's very nice, and I understand the products that you created, those are very good. But I'm just curious, when you chose these students, please tell me some more about how you talked about social justice and how you talked about the overall objectives of the project, and what was their understanding of social justice before?
actually, there almost 3 of my participants has no idea about what is social justice. The social justice for them is like, okay, we are not racist. That's all. Uh, they they were not knowing the environmental problems and immigration with connection these and the social justice. And in the briefings, I tried to talk about what is social justice and how you can use that in your lessons to teach your students. At the first briefing was very hard because only I speak, they listen. I speak, I ask questions, there were no answer. But in the second and the third briefings, they were like, oh, I have a question. Oh, I think I can explain that.
Do you want to take a minute to get some water? I don't want to make you speak if you're feeling ill.
I'm not feeling great, but I'm not that bad.
Okay. Continue, please.
During the process, the ideas of the participants are changed, and I can see that clearly because from the first briefing to last briefing, they were like only white blank page in the first briefing, and the second there were like some texts. In the third briefing, they added some pictures to their pages, and the last briefing, their pages, I mean by pages, their minds were very complex and easy to understand with social justice information.
Thank you.
Fari, maybe you mentioned this, but could you tell us like who did the drawings?
For the drawings, I agreed with a professional illustrator. Her name is Esra Arslan. I found her on the internet with thanks to his portfolio, and she was very lovely and ready to work in this project too. And in overall, I think, at least for me, his drawings are very appropriate for the levels of the students and for the stories.
Fadi, I should first thank you for your presentation. I think you did a nice job of summarizing your project for us. Could you talk a little bit about, since you have 4 participants, how you ended up with 3 stories rather than 4?
Uh, because of the COVID-19, one of my participants lost his father and during the project, so she just wrote the story and left the project. So I had to find someone to replace her, and she just wrote a lesson plan and the vocabulary according to his story.
I see. So she took the story that was already written and created the lesson plan and vocabulary list for it.
Yes, and also I not 4 but brief. If I'm not wrong, I gave briefings to her too, like not 4 but only 2.
Yeah, COVID has affected this project in a lot of different ways, hasn't it? It sounds
Yes.
like you found some smart strategies for responding to those challenges.
It was very challenging.
Thank you.
May I ask one more question?
Sure.
No, thank you very much. I'm just very curious about the stories. So the stories look very, very nice, but it seems that they all kind of have similar themes, like there's some type of metaphorical theme to them. You have something about a beautiful flower and self-loving colors and migratory triangles. I'm just curious, how did you discover, I guess, the methodology of writing stories like with a metaphor for social justice, or how did you discover that idea? It looks very interesting.
I think after the briefings, I thought we have to produce something. And my participants were ready to write something. And if I'm not wrong, one of them is already writing in the newspaper, a local newspaper. And she suggested that idea, oh, we can write some short stories with using different ideas, with metaphors, as you said. We agreed on this idea and, oh, okay, we are writing short stories now.
That's a very interesting and creative idea. I really like it.
Thank you.
And if I can ask a question, I'm wondering about the sketches. Did you just give it to this professional to draw on her own, or did they work with the writers and you? How did they come up?
Not on her own. I translated all the stories for Esra, and she thought, okay, I have this idea. What do you think about this? We worked on Esra and me only.
Okay, not the writers. Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions for Fahri? Okay. Thank you, Fahri. Very good project, actually. Yeah. So I think we can, Gökçe, you can go ahead and get started. I mean, just like, set up your project, but don't start yet until I tell you so. And we'll just like, take, as the jury, take a couple of seconds to evaluate Fahri's project.
Okay, hello. Let me see. No, I cannot do this. Sorry. Okay. Yes. Hello, my project focuses on teaching 21st century skills through inclusive LGBTQ materials. During my presentation, at first I am going to talk about myself and my interest in social justice. Then I am going to focus on the racial law, my project. Then we are going to talk about the goals of the project. Then I am going to share the results of peer survey with you that I conducted before the application part of the project. Then we are going to watch a video about the process. Actually, Dennis teacher will play it because I don't trust my internet connection right now. And then we are going to see the results of post survey. These surveys are the same in order to see the students' perspectives. And at the end, I'm going to conclude with my gains. Let me start. My name is Gökçe Çiçek Cevher. I am a student in Trabzon University, and I am also teaching English in a private school in Trabzon. How did I become an LGBTQ ally? I met a friend when I was 18, and he was homosexual, and he was the nicest person I have ever known. And also I know how the people think about him. So I thought I should do something for his acceptance and his freedom among people. That's why I decided to be an ally. The racial law, my project. Why did I choose this topic? Because as I said, I wanted my friends' acceptance, and education should include all youth, and also why 21st century skills, because future teachers should adapt themselves to the changing world. Why did I choose these participants? Because they were EFL teachers, and I know how teachers have influence on their students. And also I wanted the teachers to be more inclusive and also model my activities during their future teaching side. Let's see the goals. I put my goals into 3 subtitles. The first one, social justice goals. In this one, I wanted them to have an awareness towards LGBTQ community, their families, the challenges they face by. And in the language learning and teaching goals, I wanted them to be more, learn how to be more inclusive in teaching side. That's why I made them focus on one thing, like cause and effect sentences, given suggestions, etc. And then 21st century outcomes, my final goal. In collaboration, I wanted them to work with others to achieve a common goal. In communication, I wanted them to communicate with others to achieve a goal. And in critical thinking, I wanted them to be persistent in working with difficult problems. In creativity, I wanted them to be more open to the new perspectives. Let's see the pre-survey results. 8 participants attended to my survey. They entered their pseudonyms to feel more comfortable. And I also put my survey into 3 titles. The first one, men and women equality. In that one, they know the genders should have equal opportunities. In interacting with LGBTQ members, they know there are no differences between heterosexual people and LGBTQ members. In views towards LGBTQ, they didn't know actually the exact terms because they didn't get any lessons for it, or they just heard something and they just knew. What was the process like? At first, let me explain the video. You are going to see 4 meetings that I conducted. In each meeting, you are going to see the outcomes, and then you are going to see some parts for my meetings. Then you are going to see the mini projects, sample of mini project that student did after the meetings. And then you are going to see the journals from the quotations from journals that students kept during meetings. And at the end of those 4 meetings, you are going to see the testimonies that students recorded.
Adnan, can you make it full? Thank you. Yeah.
And we have
different identities, as you see here, trans woman, masculine, feminine, gay, transsexual. We are going to focus on them, and at the end, I am going to ask you to categorize all those terms under these main titles.
We have talked about the family's emotional ways, emotional part. It's not different from our families. It is like a usual family. They are care for their children, they love their children, support their children, and it is not different from a usual family. And we had also not a different, we couldn't find a difference with our family, except from having two fathers.
Of course, using these kinds of subjects in our lessons can also raise awareness for the future children.
There are a lot of penguins. The girl ones and the boys start noticing each other, but the penguins are different in the families. They are Silo and Roy become a couple. They slept and woke up together. They want a baby, but they couldn't do anything. So keeper noticed it. He got and thinking. He took an egg, he put it in the nest. Then Tango makes three. They become happy.
As I said, I would be disappointed. It's disgusting that people think anyone who is female or male must wear the way around the society what the society think.
Yeah. What if people tell you why your voice is like that?
This is just my voice. Anything can happen. It's not a thing. I would say that it's none of the business.
I know that people will judge me in the society, and life is too short to get sad about such things.
There was a good message in the movie, which is explaining that you're gay or heterosexual to your family. This is a bizarre moment, and the message was crystal clear, so I liked the message.
I think there are two routes to mention. We call LGBTQ community as very rude and inappropriate words to call them.
Okay, now we have our own policies towards name bullying, name calling, and verbal bullying. We just say we have people's religion, appearance and race and working style, intelligence, sexual preferences, and status. These are our limits.
The project was highly beneficial in terms of getting to know about LGBT community, not only did I learn the right terms to address them, but also got a chance to empathize myself with them so that I could at least try to understand the struggles they face. So one day when I become a teacher, I want to share the same information with my students and raise awareness, and also create a kind, respectful, and safe environment for the students who belong to the same community in my own classroom.
This project actually taught me an awareness, and it also taught that people are never different from each other and the other ones, and that people have a life and have a chance no matter what. I learned good stories and even a movie that I will tell children, my students in the future if I become a teacher. I learned new word meanings and what these meanings actually mean for LGBTQ individuals. Moreover, if we explain such concepts and words in the future individuals and our students, perhaps we will have a chance to raise individuals who are conscious, more conscious and have a high capacity to understand this subject. That's all my word.
Hi, I am Buket and I want to say something about the project I participated in. Thanks to this project, I learned a term that I have never heard before, which has made the project more meaningful to me. And when I become an actually teacher in a few years, I will treat my students from the LGBTQ community as I do my other students, as they are totally equal and they have the same rights as individuals. And I will not put them inferior to others, because this project has taught me this way. And I will try to make sure that my other students respect the situation, and I won't let them make fun of their friends, as this is a totally normal situation. And I can't help saying that I'm so glad to take part in this project, and thanks our instructor to conduct an important project like this. See you.
So I should stop my screen, right?
Gukche, you're muted.
Yes, I hope you enjoyed the video. Yes, and let's see the post-survey results. Now, I'm not going to tell anything, just I'm going to quote from their answers. They said gender does not include roles. They said nobody can categorize you and nobody can tell what you should do. And they said an individual's personality is more important than their sexual preferences. And they said, I find this discrimination disgusting. And also they said they are not hurting people, they are spreading love. I think those quotations tell every differences in students' thoughts. And what did I learn from this project? At first, I learned in a limited lesson hours, a teacher can influence their students because they are ready to learn, they are open to the new things, and they are ready to be shaped by their teachers. So when we sometimes see something so extraordinary, but actually the students are ready and they are open, so we should start doing those things. And also in my following teaching years, I am going to use this ideological view of the project in my following years. And also sometimes we are always saying teachers should do this, curriculum should have this, or managers should do this, but we are not doing anything. The actual thing is start doing those things, and this project gave me this idea. And at last, I thank you for giving me the chance to conduct this project. That's all. And also, I thank Enes Hocam and Dila for attending my lessons, and Deniz Hocam for your effort, and Kristin Hocam, thank you for every effort for you, and Adnan Hocam for your students.
Thank you, Gökçe. Okay, now we can open it up for questions. I think Chris has unmuted herself.
Well, I don't want to have to always be the first person, so I wanted to let other people get a chance if they wanted to go first. Okay.
You can go first.
Okay. Gökçe, I just wanted to give you a little bit more time to talk about what do you imagine the long-term, what do you imagine or what do you hope the long-term impact of your project to be?
As my student already said during the video, they are going to use those materials, those activities during their own during their own teaching site. So I hope, I imagine they are doing those materials, doing those teaching during their own teaching site. So I just hope this, and I know they are going to use those things.
And maybe I'll just ask you one more question in relation to what I asked Fadi. Because as we know, good teachers are reflective teachers. And so I'm just curious what you would change or what you revised during this process as you learned more by doing.
During the project, you mean during my meetings? I just not, I didn't do 4 meetings, but I would do 8 meetings in total because I want to have more time with my students.
That's probably the a common wish among all teachers, right? That we had more time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello, Gökçe, how are you?
Fine, a bit excited right now.
Oh, great. You were very confident. That was a very nice presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I have a fast question. So it's about the project in general and the concept of the project. And I thought you did an excellent job, but my one question is, and I think it's obvious to say this, the topic is very, very sensitive.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit more about how you chose the students and how did you even bring up the subject, because it's so sensitive that even if students are interested, you know, maybe if sometimes their parents hear about it or people in the community hear about it, they might not be happy. And I'm speaking from experience. I've seen other projects like this, and the students learn a lot and they really love it, but then people in the community find out about it, and then it turns into a big debate, et cetera, et cetera. So could you please talk about how you mentioned this project? How did you start it? Because it's so sensitive.
I started my project with Deniz Hocam actually because I wanted to do something about those this community, LGBTQ community, because everyone says something, but they are not doing anything. They are just saying something and they are just saying I defend this community, but they are just not doing anything. So I decided to do something, and this is social justice, and we are here to conduct that kind of project. And here in Turkey, something is really hard, but we also having some difficulties in those times actually. And I wanted to be as hesitant as this community, because they need someone to talk to, and I am ready for the society's points of views, and I just know they are just nice. They are just love each other, and that's it. And also I thank Adnan Hocam because my students are his students from university, and they are really ready for everything, and they are just too kind. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gökçe. That was a very nice presentation. I agree with Roger that it's a difficult subject to explain it or open it up. So first of all, where are you right now?
In Trabzon.
Oh, so you're in Trabzon. Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering, this is a wonderful idea, but if the teachers really used it in the classroom, do you think there will be resistance by other students or parents? What do you think?
I was working in a language school in summer, and I conducted an activity. There were pictures and there were texts about families. And I took one picture from two dads family, and the paragraph says that I have two dads. And the students just match it, and they didn't tell anything. They didn't ask me why they are having two dads, why those two dads. They didn't say anything. They just matched them. And so I understand we are overreacting all those things. We are just thinking so much, but they are just kids and they just don't know anything. And the society teach them those lessons, and if we teach the opposite, then they are going to become an ally as me.
I hope so too. Thank you.
I guess I just have one more question that relates to the last one, Gökçe, and that is, I'm just curious, because it was really clear from the video and your work that you've had an impact on the pre-service teachers, right, that you were working with.
Yes.
Do you have an idea of who they plan to go on and teach? Like, do you have an idea about like what age or, you know, that kind of thing? Like who do they want to teach your participants?
I don't understand the question, sorry.
Or maybe Ajahn, maybe you know too, since they're also your students, right?
They are teaching to primary school students.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So it sounds like you had a chance to try it out yourself with primary students as well.
Okay, so Gizem, would you be okay to go next?
Okay, hello everyone, I'm Gizem Balta. I will make a presentation about my social responsibility project titled In Pursuit of Social Justice in the EFL Classroom, a process-oriented approach to writing. And before sharing the details of my project with you, I would like to introduce myself and talk about my motivation to participate in this large-scale project. So I graduated from the ELT department of Sivas Cumhuriyet University, and currently I work as an EFL teacher in a private course center in my hometown, Sivas. And now let me talk about my motivation to participate in this project. As a human being, in this world with sharing this world with other creatures, I mean, not just human, but animals, plants, and so on, I have observed so many injustices going on. And however little is done to handle these injustices, and these issues are also excluded in the education systems of many countries, including Turkey. And in fact, these issues are seen to have no relationship with education, but again, education is considered as the key to solving these problems. So why don't we integrate these issues into education, especially in language classroom? Therefore, when I heard about seminar of this project, I thought I must be in this project, and so here I am. And first of all, I want to start with the translations of recordings. Now we are going to listen to 3 short extracts from the recordings of my post interviews with my project students. The extracts are in Turkish, but you can see their translated versions on the slide. Let's start with the first by İrem Şener.
Dışında yazma becerisi olarak da çok etki etti. Çünkü essay yazmayı daha önce bilmiyordum. Bunun ilerleyen zamanlarda da hayatıma çok etki edeceğini ve yararı olacağını biliyorum.
Eray Yalman.
Sanırsam ilk cevap verdiğim cevaplara göre hani biraz değişti düşüncelerim. Şöyle değişti. Daha böyle olumlu bakabiliyorum bu konu üzerinde. Çünkü proje içinde bir sürü örnek gördüm ve hani daha farklı perspektiflerden bakmama olanak sağladı bu.
And Sena for the last one.
Çok etkiliydi. Her izleyen insan çevremde izlettiklerimde gerçekten çok etkilendiler. Ben de ilk izlediğimde çok etkilendim. Bence yani her yerde de inanabilecek gibi olmuş. Çok güzel olmuş. Çok beğendim.
And in these short recordings, the students express their ideas on how the project contributed to their writing skills and how their understanding of concept of social justice has evolved and how influential the project products could be in different contexts. And considering all these outcomes of the project, I would like to draw attention to the purpose of my project and then share detailed information about my project. And let's have a look at the purpose of the project. In general, this project aimed to foster high school students' understanding and awareness of the concept of social justice, while also developing their writing skills. So I tried to integrate social justice issues into writing skills. And to make it more specific, this project focused on developing students' understanding and awareness of the concept of social justice and fostering their skills of writing narrative essays and also enabling them to integrate social justice issues into narrative writing narrative essays. And let's go on with the flow of the presentation. I will talk about project site and participants, project procedure and content, pedagogical approach, teaching process, blog pages, and products and impact and sustainability. And let's have a look at project site and participants. As you see on the map, I carried out my project in my hometown, Sivas. We had both in-person and online classes. As for the project participants, I had 5 high school students from Dr. Necati Erşen Social Science High School, and they were aged between 17 to 18 and had an intermediate level of English. Of course, I did not measure their language level, but this is what I observed during my project. And I got access to my participants through the help of my high school teachers. So I owe them a lot in terms of recruiting my project students. And you can access further information about the students using the QR codes. And here are the QR codes. And let's have a look at the project procedure and content. My project includes 4 major stages, and my project started with the recruitment of the students. After the recruitment phase, I had pre-interviews with the students. Then we moved on to the teaching phase. The students received a 5-week-long instruction on learning social justice issues in the writing class. Finally, we had the post-interviews. And at this point, I need to highlight 3 important points. Actually, we had 4 in-person sessions and 1 online session. As you see, session 3 was online. And we used technology a lot throughout the project. For instance, we used Google Drive, Google Documents, Zoom, and instant messaging applications like WhatsApp. And we will have a close look at the teaching phase shortly.
As the content of the project, I will talk about two important points: social justice issues and language skills. Considering social justice issues, we focused on racism, discrimination, gender inequality, poverty, and environmental issues. And we did not just focus on the Turkish context, but rather the world and Turkey. For example, we studied writing skills through the Montgomery bus boycott event in the USA and the tragic story of a girl named Gizem Bera from Bursa, Turkey. In doing so, I tried to build a worldwide worldview of social justice issues in the students regarding both local and international context, and help the students construct their local and international identities in this globalized world. As for the language skills, our primary focus was on writing skills. In relation to writing skills, we studied the narrative genre or narrative essay. We also studied past tenses like simple past tense, past progressive, and expressions used particularly in narrative essay, such as first of all, recently, yesterday, and just then. And the other skills like reading, speaking, listening, and pronunciation were used to complement the teaching and learning of writing skills. And I used two important approaches when teaching writing skills through the integration of social justice issues. These are the process-oriented approach to writing and integrated skills approach to writing. Let's begin with the first one, the process-oriented approach. The students were encouraged to view writing as a development process rather than as a product. That is, all the steps involved in creating a written work were embedded into teaching and learning process of writing skills. For instance, after learning how to create an outline, the students made their first outlines and sent them to me. And receiving my feedback, they revised their outlines and produced the final drafts. And then they wrote their first draft of their essays and shared them with their peers to get feedback on them. And after getting peer feedback, they revised their essays and had the second drafts. And they shared on the second drafts with me to get further feedback. And following my feedback, they made their final revision on the essay and had their third and final essays. And let's go on with the pedagogical approach. Considering the second approach, the integrated skills instruction was used rather than the segregated skills instruction when teaching writing skills. In other words, other skills were embedded into writing skills when teaching how to write the narrative essay. As it can be seen from the table above, the reading text titled Montgomery Bus Boycott and Hidden Figures were used in the first session. And after receiving the text, the students read them and answer some comprehension question about them. And after the reading process, these texts were used to introduce the parts of narrative essay along with the mechanics of creating an outline. And let's go on with the teaching process. Now I will share my screen. And we will watch a video to have a tour through the 5 sessions. And the second session. Online session. And this is our 4th session. And the 5th session. And these are the animated videos narrated by the students. The first video, the second video, third, the 5, and the last one. And as you see, I share it post about all the phases of my project so that people could follow and be informed about what I was doing. And similarly, and as you see. And similarly, we created blog pages on the right side, as you see in here. We created blog pages for the students, and they shared the whole process and all their products with everyone. And products. And now let's talk about the end products of my projects. They include lesson plans and materials, student products as outlines and essays and animated videos, booklets, and finally pre and post interview data. And I will again. As you see, my project has multiple end products. Let's begin with the lesson plans. People can access the lesson plans in different ways. First, they can download in here, and the second one, they are provided as pages. They can provide it as pages in here, and the third, they are all included in the booklet. And I will introduce booklet in a few seconds. And this is the lesson plans can be downloaded so people can easily and freely use them in their lessons, and you can access all of this by scrolling down. And now let's move on to students' products. They include the outlines created by the students, the essays written by the students, and the animated videos created around their essays. And again, there are multiple ways that people can access the products. First, people can access the outlines, essays, and animated videos through the booklet we provided on my blog page. And then people can also watch the animated videos on my blog page or on YouTube. So let's have a look at one of the students' blog page. Let's look at the RI's video. The students shared on their blogs everything they have produced throughout the process. The students shared their blogs, and people can access the first, second, and final drafts or their essays, and also a feedback version by me and their feedback versions, peer feedback versions. So their blogs are rich in providing information on the project and the products they produce. Now let's have a look. The booklet, project booklet, and as I have shown you, we collected everything in a booklet so that people can see all the products together. The booklet started with the copyright issues and contacts and acknowledgements, and then go on with the introduction, purpose of project, project site and participants, and project procedure and content, and goes on with the pedagogical approach, and it goes on with the lesson plans and materials. This is a long journey, and it goes on like this, and in the end we have end products in here, and at the last you can access visuals from the sessions. And in the booklet we provide QR codes in multiple places so that people can easily access further information on whatever they are reading about. And the last product of my project is the data that I collected through the pre and post interviews. This data can be used to contribute to scholarship on social justice language teaching through the publications. And so now let's watch some small portions from the animated videos.
Gizem, actually your time is up, so maybe if we have time at the end, we can watch I really want to watch the videos, but why don't you wrap up your presentation and we'll see if we have time for the video.
Okay, that's okay. And let's talk about impact and sustainability. With all that I have said so far, and we have seen, it is important for us to focus on the impact and sustainability of the project. Of course, I have a number of points that I want to draw your attention to. And here we go. This project helped me raise awareness and understanding of the concept of social justice, both in the students and in me. And I think my students have a much better understanding of the concept and feel more responsible toward the world. And the same applies me as well. In my case, I went through a series of 4 webinars during the larger project, but we all know that the implementation of such topics in the classroom is rather challenging. The students and I had authentic experience, so I think we feel empowered to carry out similar activities or tasks. And this project enabled the students to compare different contexts regarding social justice issues. And for example, they have the chance to see different social justice events or stories from the USA and Turkey. And this would help them cultivate solidarity with peoples of the world. And my project offers concrete examples for the application of different pedagogical approaches when teaching social justice in the writing classroom. And as I had introduced before, I used both the process-oriented and the integrated skills approach in my class. So my applications provide tangible examples in this sense. And my project provides a rich resource center for language teachers. They can use my lesson plans along with their materials, and they can use the outlines and essays created by the students. They can use the animated videos with various purposes in different lessons. For example, the animated videos can be used in pre or post reading or writing stages where students can have productive conversation on different social justice issues. And the blog page, the YouTube playlist, other resources available online will help the project to reach larger audiences. So they will be informed about the social injustice that prevail across different contexts, such as the USA and Turkey. And the voices that go unheard will be heard by others, and these may initiate the process of taking action to make a change. And the project will have long-term positive impact through its own nature and its products, because I believe that they all have the potential to raise awareness and hopefully encourage people to take action. And I want to go on with the contact information. Here are contact information. Before completing my presentation, I would like to offer my special thanks to people, institutions, and organizations who have provided this opportunity for me and supported me throughout this project. And I do thank to my project students for their voluntary participation in this project during such a challenging time due to the pandemic, and Doctors Deniz Ortaçtepe, Adnan Yılmaz, and Servet Çelik for the opportunity to be in this project, and also Dr. Elder and Eyüp Yaprak for assisting me, and of course the US Embassy Ankara for facilitating such opportunities and funding our projects. And so I guess this is all about my presentation. If you have any question, I will be more than happy to answer.
Hello, Gizem.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. I thought that was excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have a quick question because your presentation was so clear. I'm just curious about the pre-writing phase. If you could tell us a little bit more about that. So, for example, you know, you covered a lot of material. For the pre-writing phase, I believe you mentioned, you know, you introduced several topics like racism, and one of them was maybe the environment. And as part of racism, one of them was the Montgomery bus boycott, and one of the students wrote about that. That's very interesting. I'm just curious if you could tell me more about what happened in that phase, because, you know, when you talk about these subjects, there's a lot going on in these topics, like racism. I mean, that's a very big topic. And when you talk about particular historical events like, you know, the Montgomery bus boycott, even for American students, that's a lot to chew on. So I'm curious if you could just tell me what did your students think when, you know, you introduced these topics? Could you tell me a little bit more about the conversations that they had? I'm very, very curious what their initial thoughts were.
Actually, I had pre-interview phase with my students to learn what they know, and they had very narrow understanding of the concept, but they had a very effective process. But in the in pre-interview, pre-writing part, actually, I have used reading passages, as you said, and I have started the lesson with an attractive speech of Martin Luther King. I have a dream speech. That's why students actually pay attention to the topic, because they are curious about the world and about the racism and about the social justice topics, because we had pre-interview phase, and they had a very effective process. And we have a few reading passages. I have used a few reading passages, just not Montgomery bus boycott. I have also used Hidden Figures. It is also about women's rights and racism. That's why the students have seen more examples of about both social justice issues and both how to write an essay, how to write a narrative essay. That's why in pre-writing process, we had through many examples. That's why they had gained the experience on this issue, I guess.
Great, thank you very much.
Hi, Gizem.
Hi.
Thank you for your presentation. I have two questions for you. The first one is, I'm curious why you chose narrative essay as the type of writing to have students do. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Because in narrative essay, it's easy to tell stories, I guess, because our topic is social justice. We want to give social justice, but in writing. And this is the easiest and the most effective way, actually, to give students just a minute. I'm sorry. It is the easiest and most effective way, I guess, to give students the stories on the social justice topic. That's why I chose the narrative essay.
Okay. And I'll ask you the same question that I asked Fadi and Gupce. What is something that you learned from doing this project, or something that you would revise after doing this project?
Actually, I have learned a lot on this process, because working in high school students, this was so, I fear at the first, but they are so willing, and that's why it was easy, actually. But as everyone, I would like to have more time, because, you know, I had get coronavirus and my family. That's why I had to start my project late. That's why I was in hurry, because I work in private center too, and I teach 40 hours in a week. That's why I just need to work in my spare time. It was a tiring process for me, but I had learned a lot. That's why in my future career, I will use many things on this project, about this project. And what I revise, and actually, as I said, if I had more time, and if I had more time, and if I had more sessions, it would be more effective, I guess.
In what way? I mean,
I'm so appreciate what I have done. I am so clear with this, and I am so appreciate what I have done with my students. We can do more activities or more things. Just it.
yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to get you to be more specific. So, like, for example, you said you would take something from this project and use it in your own teaching going forward, right?
Yes.
So can you give an example of that?
Actually, I have many materials to use in the lessons. Outlines, lesson plans, videos, of course, and even pre-intermediate level students can watch the videos because they are animated and the language is not that hard. And because they are animated, the other people can flexibly watch it, and there are pronunciation. We had the pronunciation part, and we can use the recordings or videos for pronunciation phase. And I have many materials on reading. We can use the end products, writing products, as a reading passage in my lessons. And there are many things, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
great.
I have so many materials, I guess, because I can use them also on social justice topic. I had many searching, actually, because Adnan Hocam and I tried to find appropriate topics to students. And I had searched stories from USA and also Turkey. And by doing this, I have learned a lot on social justice topics. What is going on in Turkey? What is going on the world? That's why I also learned a lot in there.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Gizem, thank you. That was a great presentation. It was pretty clear. I actually only have one question, and sorry if I missed it, but why did you specifically choose high school students? And do you think your approach could have been done with younger learners or older learners at the university level? Do you think this can be applied to different levels of teaching?
Actually, I started different in the project, but high school students are more actually open to new topics, and I just wanted to focus on writing. I could go on the process with higher students maybe, but in high school students, they are I guess more open to new things, and they are growing identities. Actually, their age is so critical because they are improving their identities, and they are getting they are contribute to world in the future. That's why I just wanted to go on with the process with high school students, because they can get a lot with this project. I thought like that.
Very wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, we can hear you. So we are 6 minutes behind schedule, but we can catch up very easily. And Kadir, you have 15 minutes to present your project, and then 10 minutes for Q&A. So you can begin whenever you're ready.
So before starting, if it is possible, I want all of you to take piece of paper, pen or pencil, and your cell phones. Okay, let's get started. Hello, everyone. As you know, social justice in ELT is a broad field. Like Fahri did some short stories, Gökçe worked on LGBTQ issue, and Gizem worked on some essays. So it's really broad field. I appreciate all of my friends' work and effort. And for my topic, I thought I had to pick the topic that matches with my interest in order to put the most effort. So that is why I chose special education needs. First, let's check what is special education needs. It is defined as the design and delivery of teaching and learning strategies for individuals with disabilities or learning difficulties who may or may not be enrolled in regular schools. So this is the definition. But still, special education needs is a broad term. So let me show you the categories first. So it has intellectual disabilities, learning disabilities, emotional or behavioral disorders, autism spectrum disorders, communication disorders, deafness and hearing loss, blindness, low vision, and it goes on. So there are lots of categories. And I had to choose one of them. So I made some research on the internet, and I found that the word statistics from the National Center for Education Statistics. So let's see, 6.7 million students are included in this research. And the percentages are specific learning difficulties has 34%, speech and language impairment 20%, other health impairment 14%, autism 9%, and it goes on like this. But even emotional disturbance is 5%. It requires the same amount of work with others. Like ignorance is not accepted in social justice. But in order to make the most impact, I chose specific learning difficulties, which is 34%. So, and I also wondered about the Turkish statistics. I realized that there is an increasing trend in the number of special education students. So I thought myself, I said that I'm on the right way. So I chose dyslexia. So first, again, let's check what's the meaning of dyslexia. So this means poor, inadequate, and lexis means words and language. So it is defined as dyslexia is learning difficulty that primarily affects the skills involved in accurate and fluent word, reading, and spelling. So now you only know the definition of the dyslexia. So let's see how dyslexic students feel. Now, you have a piece of paper, your pen or pencils, and your cell phone. Follow my instruction, and let's do an empathy session all together. So put the piece of paper in front of you, turn on your cell phone, the camera, put the selfie mode, and place it in front of your papers so that the selfie mode reflects the paper. Is everyone okay? I have to hear from you.
Kadir, do you want,
when you say, go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, Denise. When you say the paper in front of us, do you mean on the desk or
on the desk? Yeah, on the desk.
Okay.
Now
everybody else
turned on you turned on the selfie modes, and you can see the paper in the cell phones. Now, I want all of you to write the sentence. The cat jumped over the moon. But do not directly look at the paper, but try to write it by looking to your phones. I think everyone's ready. Now, who wants to share your experiences? How did you feel? And please turn on your microphones. It's gonna be like interactive presentation.
I felt disoriented.
So it was not easy, right?
Yeah, very difficult.
Yeah. Anyone who wants to share?
Same here. It kind of felt like as if it didn't belong to me. Like I wasn't liking it.
Yeah, so you see that it is really hard. So this was only one type of dyslexia. First, you get the meaning. Now you feel little about how dyslexic students feel. So let's move on. My project. First, my project aims to increase awareness on dyslexia and dyslexic students in ELT content. Later, it intends to offer solutions to ensure justice between dyslexic students and others. So, as I said, it has 2 steps. The first step, seminars for pre-service teachers. As I was an undergraduate student, I wasn't an expert on this field, so I made a contact with Nafi Özmenek, who is Oxford University Press Delegate in Turkey and has PhD work on dyslexia. So I told him that, shall we make some seminars to increase awareness on dyslexia? And he said, okay, let's do it. So our first destination was Trabzon University. The seminar was held for senior students of ELT department by Nafi Özmenek and me. As I said, the aim was to increase the awareness of students who are about to graduate and learn more about dyslexia and how they should behave if they have any dyslexic students in the future. So I will show you some pictures. Nafi Özmenek and me doing the seminar. So the second destination, it was Atatürk University, and again the seminar was held for the senior students of ELT department by Nafi Özmenek and me. So I get used to do some seminars with the help of Nafi Özmenek. So again, I will show you some pictures from Atatürk University. Now, after that, we faced with, as you know, coronavirus pandemic and couldn't do more seminars. But was it enough to have 2 seminars? What about the other pre-service teachers? Or what about the teachers who are currently working in schools? So here's the second step, reaching out to masses. Now imagination time. I want all of you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Now, imagine that you are watching a TV show. You heard a word that you don't know. Or you heard a topic and want to make some research to gather more information. Now, do the research or learn the word in your imagination. You have 30 seconds. I think you are all done. Now, who wants to share his or her imagination? How did you reach to the information? Now tell us. Turn on your microphones.
I used my dictionary app on my cell phone, and if it didn't give me a satisfactory definition, then I'd Google it.
Yeah. More? Who wants to share?
I went on to Google and then reached the YouTube video about it. It was a explaining video. So I found that very helpful.
Okay, now I would like to take your attention. Now focus. You used an online dictionary in your cell phone. Why didn't you just get up and pick the dictionary? Or you made some research online with YouTube. So why didn't you go to the libraries and find the articles or the dictionaries? See?
Because, sorry, I go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, most of you use the internet because we're in the age of technology. The time is precious. So you chose internet to reach information in seconds, and it offers you limitless options. So that is why the second step, is the website. So I created dyslexiainelt.com. Let me show you the. So when you go to the website, you see the homepage with different pictures in the background and dyslexia in English language teaching. And I have only one button, We Do Care button. And if you do not care about dyslexia, then you are not welcomed in this page. Then if you do care, just click on it. So here is my website. It comes with the dyslexia and historical background. So it is like the beginning of dyslexia. You can find the definition, more information. You can find the historical background of dyslexia, how it was found, who found it. So another button, causes button. So what causes dyslexia? We don't know. So I made some research and I put it here. So it can be done genetically, environmental, neurological, and different brands of neurological. So I placed it. Before moving on to the next button, symptoms button, I should say that a teacher may have a dyslexic student in his or her class. How can we diagnose that student is dyslexic? So I put some symptoms for the teachers to observe the students and identify it. So the symptom says that there are different categories. The student may have a listening problem, like problems with note-taking, noise distraction, find background, or like temporal problems, difficulties with telling the time, right and left confusion, get lost easily. All of those are the symptoms for dyslexia. So the teacher may observe the students and diagnose them. So another button, process button. So it gives you some hints for the teachers, like teaching methods. You can use multi-sensory method. You can use videos, maps, other visuals, like stories, hands-out mind maps, or learning methods, like bullet points. In the symptoms part, I did not write it like an essay. I do it with the bullet points. So still learning method is bullet. And the physical space. And assistive technology, the teachers might use screen settings, V-books, or I put some website, audible.com, or apps or smart pens. So this site shows teachers to use some strategies, techniques, and methods. And also I put some types of dyslexia. Like when you come here, you can see concept reversal, vertical disorientation, lateral disorientation. So let's click one of them. Just click omitting letters. So first it says that random letters may be omitted. On the right side, it's an example that is written by the dyslexic student. He or she wrote that approximately 30 miles between blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. But what he meant and what he really understands is that approximately 30 miles between Bluff and Mexican Head. He understands this, but cannot write it. So there are different types of dyslexia for teachers that can observe the writings of his or her students, and practical solutions. So I put some practical solutions for teachers. I prepared the materials part. So I created some materials with the help of Nafi Özmenek, of course. So material one, the explanation of the material, how can you use it, and how it is done, and the pictures of the material that is used in the right way. And also another material, the image of the material, how can it be done, how can it be used, so the explanation of the material, so that the teachers may use if they have any dyslexic students. Another part, activity. So this is my best part, by the way. So the activity is about learning the verbs and the past forms, past participle forms. So step one is about the verb, the sound and the meaning in L1. So in this case, it was a Turkish student, so it is Turkish. So it is not directly written the B buzzword or B. So I also put the sounds. Like dyslexic students need some audio materials. When you click on it, it gives you the audio. So, step 2. The student learned the B, olmak was verb and being, another verb with the B, with the same sound. Break, kırmak, broke, broken. So the final step, as the coronavirus forced me not to directly meet those dyslexic students. Now Fiozmanek had some dyslexic students, so he helped me by preparing this step 3. So it is about using the step 1 and step 2. And the students are offered to make music, like the rhythms, like the meanings in L1 and L2, like all the forms, that is simple present, past simple, past participle. So I will show you the music that is prepared by the dyslexic students. So that was the music that is prepared by the dyslexic student. So like he did do, did, done with the all the three forms of the verb, and the ödevini yapılan, like it is like the meanings of in L2 and in L1. So he did a great work, but he still have some pronunciation mistakes, but it's still good. So I also put some fun part, famous dyslexics. When you click on it, you can see some famous dyslexic persons like Thomas Alva Edison, Albert Einstein, Rodin, like the map, and other famous people like Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman, Jack Nicholson, Benjamin Franklin, Mozart. So that was like the fun part. And the last section, contact us. So the visitors can contact me by using the form below, or they can send some emails to support@dyslexiainelt.com. I put the form here and turn back to the presentation. So I did seminars, I created a website, but what about the impact? So I just got my Google Analytics about the website, and I get 3,627 sessions, which means one single person, one single IP address visited my website. I did reach to 3,627 people. And by the way, I do not have 3,000 computers that has unique IP address, so they are all real people. So the average session duration, 28 minutes and 14 seconds. They spent 28 minutes on my website. And the page views shows that it is not counted as one. One person can visit two, it's counted as two, but sessions part was the important. So the contact us, the form part. Did I receive anything? Yeah. I just select the surnames, the mails for the personal information. I didn't want to show it. So I got the email that's saying, I'm working as an English teacher in a public school. I have dyslexic student in my class. The material that you put on the website can be used in different topics, like weathers and emotions. I personally use such materials. I wanted to share my ideas for the topic. So I asked them, I asked her, so how can we use it? And she said, like, we have cubes. And when you put the emotions by writing, and the other cube has the faces, like smiley faces, and your emotion, your sad face, and the other emotion. Another example that I received, and this person asked me to use the music that I just showed you in his class. So he just asked it. So the work is taken and used in another class for dyslexic students, and that made me really happy. And lastly, I want to end my presentation with a really great saying that I learned from my teacher. We hear, we forget, we see, we remember, and we do, we understand. And that is why the name of my project is Dyslexia. So it is not anymore dyslexia, but dyslexia. So presentation finished. Any questions?
Kadir, I have a question. Can you talk about how the website you created, how it builds on or expands other websites that are already out there on dyslexia? What role does your specific website serve that the others don't?
Well, first of all, after I created the website, I told Nafi Özmenek that I created the website. So can you do some PR work, like show it to the other people? So we placed some advertisement about the website so that people or the English language teachers can see. So some of them comes from here. And the other one, unfortunately, maybe you don't know, maybe you know, the Google, if you want your site to come first in Google, so you have to pay some money to Google. So that is why we paid some and get higher when they search dyslexia and ELT content altogether. So that is why I get the people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, since while I'm unmuted, let me ask you the same question that I asked everyone else, and that is, what did you learn from doing this project, or what would you revise if you had more time or more technology, or if it wasn't COVID, etc.?
Well, what I learned, I was really into dyslexia. It's an interesting topic that catches my attention. So I deeply learned more about dyslexia. And I learned that it's really funny and it was shocking. Maybe you know Leonardo da Vinci, that he has a code that other people cannot see, but when you put the writings in front of the mirror, that you can see it. So it was like the Da Vinci's code that no one's know. It's like a password, but it's not. He was just a dyslexic. So that was shocking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Kadir?
Yeah, I do. Another very nice presentation, and this is a topic that's always interested me, especially for special needs. Just wondering how you chose the places you gave conferences at, and had the pandemic not happened, what was the plan? What was the next step? Which places would you visit, and how would you promote this for more teachers to be aware of?
Well, my plan was to visit 4 universities. The Trabzon University, that Servet Hoca was in Trabzon University, so he arranged it. So Atatürk University, I was a student in Atatürk University. So I was planning to visit Samsun University, that Iran was there. So, and I would like to put another 4th university, but as you know, pandemic couldn't make me do it. So even pandemic, without the pandemic, I would also do the website. And I was always talking about the website with İrem. She was my mentor and my project teacher, Servet Hocam. They always knew that I was always talking about preparing the website.
And how would you further promote it with so that other teachers become aware of it?
So the Dyslexic Student Center, there is a really good school in Ankara that now Özmenek has some connections with that school. So we were planning to visit the school and do some activities all together with directly face to face with the dyslexic students. So, but I couldn't do it because of pandemic.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, and my question is about the seminars that you organize at different universities, Trabzon and Atatürk University. So thinking of the impact of and the sustainability of the topic in the project, do you think the seminars have been really effective in terms of, in the long run? You know, sometimes we just attend some seminars or meetings, we listen, we do some activities, hands-on practice activities, and then unfortunately, sometime later, we just forget it.
Yeah, you are.
So in considering this point, do you think, what do you think about the impact and the sustainability of the seminars?
Yeah, you are right. But in the end of the seminars, the students who attended the seminars prepared some boards about the dyslexia, about the awareness of dyslexia. They all prepared it, and I just collected them. And I placed it in the departments in ELT so that every student can see it. So this, you can forget what the seminar is about after a month or 2 months, but you can always see those posters and the boards in your department. So the sustainability is like the 50%. But the website supports it. So
I don't know if Roger was here. He just entered and I admitted him to the meeting. Maybe he might have some questions. I don't know. Maybe we can wait a few minutes for him. Oh, he's here, right?
Yeah. Kadir, did you design the web page on WordPress?
Yeah.
And like, did you get any help, or what was the process like?
It was like I hired a person who can do those websites. So I gave him the instructions and he did it.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. I think Roger is here. Are there any other questions for Kadir?
Sorry, I got cut off there, but so I will just say that was an excellent presentation. And over my many years in the field of TESOL, I have very rarely seen anything about how to deal with dyslexic students. So I thought what you did is very, very helpful. And when I was teaching myself, I encountered several dyslexic students. But frankly, at the time, I had no idea what to do, because training for dealing with dyslexic students in many ELT programs in America is even still very rare. So I thought what you did was excellent and very, very appropriate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So if we don't have any other questions, we will need to take a 5-minute break for Servet to put together all the data from our evaluations. I'm going to put the presenters and the mentor teachers as well in the waiting room. So we'll first take a 5-minute break, and then, as the jury members will come back, and we'll have a discussion session to, to decide how to move forward, and then I'll invite you back into the session.
So sorry, everyone, for keeping you in the waiting room this long. That wasn't in the plan actually. So we talked about your work and your projects, and we have decided that all 4 of you actually have done amazing jobs and deserve to, go to the States and attend the TESOL conference. And since we have the funds to be able to do so, you are all granted the TESOL Convention 2022 award. Congratulations. So our jury members provided some feedback. Your project supervisors will pass them on to you after this meeting, not tonight, sometime, soon. So please feel free to get in touch with them and learn more about the comments and the feedback that you have received on your work. Any questions or any comments?
I'm looking forward to you all coming
Anything
to
that you want to share?
Any comments from the participants? Any thoughts, or from the mentors?
Maybe I can thank you all to give this opportunity again. And it was really pleasure for me, and I know also for Irem. And it's really good to hear that 4 of them will go to US for presentation. And congratulations to all of them. It was a great work, I think.
And I can make another comment, I think, and it's very nice to see them all here like this. We are gonna go together to the USA. It was really nice. We worked really hard, and Kadir and Fahri will know that because they are my students. I'm a mentor of them, but I'm sure that Gökçe and Gizem did very good job. And it's very nice to see all these results here. And I can thank you all of you again, giving me this opportunity here again. And I'd like to attend another step of this social justice project. If it happens, I would be more than happy, I can say. That's all. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you both. How about the participants?
Actually, I really thank you for this opportunity, and all of my friends worked hard, especially in this coronavirus process. So I really thankful for all of you for giving this opportunity, actually. But also I also thank to Dr. Yılmaz Adnan Hocam because he was always there for me whenever I needed him. And all of you, thank you, and all of my friends, I congratulate you for your efforts, and thank you again, I guess. And I'm looking for to go, yes.
Yeah.
And I also would like to thank all of you. And sometimes words cannot tell our feelings. So this is the moment. So I would like to thank my mentor, İrem. I really kept her busy. And I always ask questions to my Servet Hocam and İrem. So sorry for the keeping their time. So all in all, see you in States.
My time, I also thank my teachers for giving us this chance, and also Dila for participating in my meetings, and also I look forward to meet Chris' teacher because I really appreciated when working with her. It was really good opportunity for me. Thank you for all your effort and time again. And my teachers, Deniz Hocam, Adnan Hocam, and Servet Hocam. Thank you for all of this.
I would like to thank everyone. I don't know what to say actually. I'm really sorry for coughing. Especially Servet Hoca and İrem. Çok teşekkür etmek isterim. Gerçekten kelimelerim kalmadı.
So I think like it's 10 p.m. now. We can call the day, or let Chris enjoy her Sunday. And again, thank you everyone for all your support. Aycan, you want to say something?
Oh no, I was just playing around.
Okay.
I just want to maybe congratulate everybody. It's been a pleasure. It was so much, how can I say? It's very inspiring to see all these ideas coming out of young brains, and it's always so good to see these put into actual content. And I also hope that COVID allows us and we all meet in the States for this TESOL conference.
Yeah. So, amen to that. Okay, good seeing you all, and again, congratulations, and we'll be keeping in touch in the following months.